We're trying to teach you and then sell. We don't sell anything unless you know what just happened or unless you have learned something, right? The whole industry has got it backwards, which is why it's not working. Everyone's trying to sell, and then maybe, just maybe you learn something along the way. And by the time you learn something, it's usually not something good. You learn that you've been ripped off, or you've learned you just didn't sell you the best thing, right? So that's the problem. That's what we don't need in today's world. And you don't need to waste your time, you know. You can't put you can't put a price on time, so you don't need it. But here's what you do need to be financially well. You need the facts, right? Because when you have the facts, then and only then can you make good decisions, right? How are you able to make decisions if you don't know the facts, if you don't know the pros and the cons, the good and the bad, the facts versus the bluff, right? You need the facts to make good financial decisions, right? You need to know what's going on. And you need a strategy, right? Money is just like any game requires a strategy, right? If you get, I've always been playing sports. I'm a soccer guy. I've been playing soccer all my life. For us, before every single game, we were told a strategy. Here's how we're gonna win the game. Here's how we're gonna play. Here's our formation. Here's our tactic. Here's what's gonna go down. That's a strategy. Without a strategy in this game, you're never gonna win. You're just gonna go onto the field and be clueless and run around like a headless chicken, right? So that's what's gonna happen if you don't have a strategy with your finances. Here's what else you're gonna need. You're going to need a clear picture of where you stand today. That is very, very valuable. A lot of people don't even know where they stand today, right? You need to know where you are and where you want to be. Even though even though where you are today might not be the best, it could be, you could hurt your image a bit. But you know what? It is what it is. You just have to accept the fact and move on and do something about it. A lot of the people that I know, they're like, yeah, I'm broke. My life isn't good. But you know what? It's like. And then they just stop there, and then just pout. So that's good. You know where you are today, but what are you gonna do about it? And then they say nothing. And that's the problem. People know where they are. People know they're broke. People know they don't have money. People know their relationships aren't good, but no one's doing anything about it, right? So there's no good in knowing that you're not doing good, and not doing anything about it. All right. And then I also learned this. There's 3 reasons why people don't do well financially, right? A failure to plan, right? You've all heard this before. People don't plan to fail; they fail to plan, right? People don't have a plan when it comes to money, right? They just hope by the time they hit age 65 they'll have some sort of pension or some sort of money coming to the bank account, but they absolutely have never ever planned it, right? They're uninformed, right? A lot of people just don't know. Like most of us, we don't even know some of the stuff that we're gonna go down. We're gonna talk about today. And the other thing is, people are misinformed. Okay, so let's dive into this. A failure to plan, right? So, just a raise of hand, just a quick show of hands. How many of you guys have been in a wedding before? Right? Okay, almost everyone. Right. And that wedding, that wedding day, how long did that usually take? Any guys? Let's just throw a number.
All day.
All day.
A few hours, yeah.
A few hours. Usually, we could all agree that a wedding usually takes mostly all of the day, right? From the day that they wake up to the day they go to the reception to
Some
go to
cultures,
honeymoon.
3 days.
Exactly, right? But how long do you think that one day or maybe 3 days took to plan?
Years to months.
Months to years, right? Can we all agree that an average wedding could take anywhere between 12 to 18 months to plan?
Yeah.
Typical, yeah.
Right? So, and then, let me ask you this. How long does an average retirement last? Or how long is a retirement?
Until you die.
20. I like this, right?
20 to 30 years.
20, 30. There you go. So can we all agree that an average retirement takes anywhere between 20 to 30 years, right? But how long do people plan a retirement?
10 years.
Oh, if you're lucky, 10 years. A lot of people that I know don't even plan it for 2 weeks. That's a problem, right? That's a problem. If people plan more for a one-day event than they do for a 20-year event, there's a problem, right? I read this in a book somewhere. The average person plans more for a 2-weekend vacation more than you for their retirement. right? So can we all agree there's something not right about the time frame, right? How could you possibly plan 12 to 18 months for a one-day event, but maybe just a few weeks for a 30-year event? Like the math just doesn't add up, right? So that's the problem, right? There's a failure to plan. No one's planning. It's just gonna run out. All right. And the other is people are uninformed, right? People just don't know the facts, like I said, to make decisions. People don't know the information, right? In Canada, I could say the traditional process is you go to school, you go to university, and then you're thrown in the workforce. Can we agree on that, right? It's some sort of, it may look like a school, college, maybe university, and then workforce, or even school straight to workforce, or some sort of plan like that, right? Where in the workforce, when you come straight out of university or college, are you taught about the tax code? Where are you taught about money, how to save money, or how money works? Where in the educational process are we taught the rule of 72?
Only if you're in accounting, and that's barely touched on.
That's barely touched on. I know a guy who's a fourth year finance at MRU, and he still doesn't know these rules, right? So I get, and the rule of 72 is fundamentally the most powerful finance rule there is. If you don't know it, I guarantee it's working against you. If you don't know the rule of 72, I guarantee it's working against you. But the majority of the people are uninformed, and if you're uninformed, you can never make a decision for your finances for your future. Right? It's just you just don't know information. You can't make decisions if you don't know what it is, right? And the other one is the people are misinformed. They're just missing key facts, or maybe they do have information. It's just wrong, or it's just not the best information. Or maybe they've been brought up in such a way that they don't know how money works, right? Because most of us have been brought up in a way with money. Like you usually look up to your parents about money, or you kind of follow them as a role model when you're a kid growing up, right? So if you had parents who were really good with money, you tend to be pretty good with money too. If you had parents who were really pounding, saving, you would most likely be a person who would just go saving as well, right? So if you guys are, and that's the problem though. Not everyone or your role models that you look up to aren't the best, right? And I'm not saying that you don't have the best parents or anything. That's completely not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, I guess what I'm saying is don't take advice from people who aren't where you want to be. If you guys taking notes, write this down. Do not take advice from people who aren't where you want to be, right? If someone's not where you want to be, do not take advice from them. If you want to become a millionaire or a billionaire or a trillionaire, right? Don't take advice from someone living paycheck to paycheck, because they just don't know what advice to give, right? If you're gonna become a millionaire, which I hope every single one of you guys in this room do not take advice from someone who's living paycheck to paycheck to paycheck, or even worse, they're in debt. All right. How many of you guys have heard of a financial house before? Wow, that's it? Wow, we got a lot of learning to do. All right. So the biggest issue with a financial house isn't that it's a house, it's that people build it in the wrong way. People don't build from the ground up like a traditional house, right? How is the house usually built? You go foundation, frame, and you go up. You know what a lot of people tend to do with a financial house? They go roof down, right? I don't know about you, but I've never seen a house that's been built from roof down and it's still standing today, right? So when you're building your financial house, number one is income protection. You have to know something. You have to have a plan in force to protect your income in case the breadwinner passes away or is unable to produce income. That's the key. This is the foundation that your entire house lays upon. If you don't have income protection, it's like you're living in a house without foundation, right? This is the most important. And at Primerica, we offer that through life insurance, right? If a breadwinner is to pass away or if something happens, you can protect that income. Next is an emergency fund, right? And this is usually anywhere between 3 to 6 months of your expenses in cash. A lot of people think of emergency fund as a credit card, I remember a credit card isn't your money. It can't be an emergency fund, right? It's not your money, so don't use it and don't act like it's your money. A lot of people don't understand that a credit card isn't your money. Just keep going tap, 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 and then in the month you get a bill, they're like, oh, I spent this much money. I know so many people who, when they get their statement, they're like, I don't even know what I spent it on. I don't even know why it's $2,000. I never thought I would spend $2,000 in a month, right? Because it's not their money. It's really easy to spend it when it's not your money, right? I could spend all you guys' money in 2 seconds because it's not mine. But when I'm spending my own money, I'm usually quite savvy about it and a little smarter with it because it's your own money. The other is a debt reduction plan, you know, and the word debt usually doesn't really sit well, but debt is going to be there regardless. We live in an economy where there is debt, you know. Canada as a government owes debt, so we all owe debt somewhere or another, right? So debt, everyone has debt, but the key with debt reduction plan is to have this plan in writing, right? There is something about having your goals in writing that makes it more powerful. I don't know what it is, but it triggers you to do them faster because your handwriting has a power to get to finish your goals. I always try to write my goals in handwriting. There are apps where you can do your goals, but always write down your goals in your own handwriting. It has a certain power and a certain effect that I just don't even know what it is. I just can't explain. Next is investing, right? So when you have a good foundation, when you have a good structure, you know, next is investing. And now this is long-term investing. We're talking 25, 30 plus maybe years, right? And so this is the money that you're not going to need in case you lose your job. This is the money you're not going to take out in case you can't protect your income anymore, or in case you don't have an emergency fund. And the next and the last one, which is the really, really fun one, is your goals and your dreams, right? And this is the one that people build first. A lot of people are doing this backwards. A lot of people are worried, focused more on their goals and their dreams rather than their income protection or their emergency funds, right? A lot of people that I know don't even have an emergency fund, right? Or don't even know that you have to protect your income in case something happens, because it is life, you know. You never know what life holds, right? And so, never ever build your financial house upside down. That's what a lot of people's houses are upside down, and you know that they're not going to work, right? As I was saying earlier, the rule of 72, right, is the most fundamentally powerful rule in all of finances. But the problem is no one teaches you this. In Primerica, when I got licensed, I think I've taught this to about 45 people in about a month. Everyone that I talk to, I tell them this because no one knows about it, and it's so powerful. If you don't know it, it's being used against you in forms of like things like credit card, or when you go buy a house, or you could buy a brand new car. All these interest rates that you see, or even when you get all these interest rates, that's just rule of 72 working against you. You just don't know it, right? And that's the problem when people aren't wealthy. Remember, rule number 2 is people are misinformed or uninformed, right? So the rule of 72 states that you divide your interest rate into 72. Now 72 is a constant; it never changes. Just like pi, you know, pi is 3.1415289. It just keeps on going on. Someone's figured out that pi works, and we just put it in our calculator. We don't ask why pi works, right? The same way that 72 works. Someone's figured out that 72 works, and we're just going to divide our interest rate into 72 to find out approximately the number of years it takes for money to double. Did you guys even know that? Did you guys even know that money could double on its own just sitting? Without you ever touching it, money could double. But the problem with this is no one believes you, because all these guys who come from the banks are given a rate of return of 0.05. Now, if you take 0.05 and divide it into 72, do you know how long it's going to take for your money to double it at the bank?
0.05?
Yeah.
3,000 years. You figured it out?
Well, it's 1,440 years. So, people who are misinformed or uninformed don't know that there are interest rates you could get that are more than 0.05 that RBC and Scotiabank and TD are giving you, but the rates that they're used to is 0.05 and maybe 0.5, like 200 years, right? No one's going to be around for that. That's why people, when you tell them the rule of 72, they're like, it doesn't work. Well, like, how can you know it doesn't work? Well, because I have it in my savings account. And then you look at their and you look at their interest rate, it's 0.05. I'm like, it's not going to work because it's going to take 1,500 years to double. You're not going to be around for that long to see your money grow. It will grow, I guarantee you that. Your money is going to grow in 1,500 years, but I don't know if you're going to be around, right? All right, so it's at 3%, we're going to take 72 divided by 3, and we're going to find out the number of years is going to take the double, right? So let's go, let's go. Oh, we'll do 3%, 6%, and let's do one more, we'll do 12%. And now, let me tell you something about 12%, right? If someone comes up to you and says, I will give you a guaranteed rate of return at 12%, you should run away. You should pack what you have and run away. Nothing is going to guarantee you 12% rate of return. But there are some S&P 500 or some funds that average close to 11 to 12%. The S&P 500 over the last 50 years have averaged 11.3%, which is pretty close, but it's not guaranteed, right? It just had a really good record. So if someone comes and says, I'll give you a guaranteed 12% rate of return, you should run away because it's not guaranteed. No rate of return at 12% is going to be guaranteed. But there are, like I said, there are things. So let's just do hypothetical. These are just hypothetical numbers. We'll just use 3, 6, and 12. So at 3%, how many? Who knows how long it's going to take at 3% to double? $2,000. Who's good at mental math? Read. 72. Read. How many times is 72?
72 divided by 3?
Yeah.
24.
24. So in 24 years, how much should this person have?
4,000.
And what's the next doubling period?
48.
48. Okay. I'm just gonna have 8,000. So, without looking at without seeing at 6%, if you're doubling our interest rate, what do you think should happen to the money? Any guesses? If we're doubling our interest rate, if we're going from 1 to 2, what should happen to your money? Should it go from 1 to 2 as well? Right? Yeah, it should. Okay. Your money should double, right? And that's where you guys are wrong. Unfortunately, I have to say that, right? Look, did our money double here, even though our interest rate doubled? No, quadruple. Because the difference between 1% and 2% isn't 1%, it's 100%, right? And when I tell people that, they're like, no, it's not. But the difference between 1% and 2% is 100%, it's not 1%. Which is why you're able to just double, which is why with only doubling your interest rate, you're able to almost quadruple your money, right? So now let's try that with 12%. Now we're gonna double our interest rate again, which means we should have double the money, right? Am I right? Now let's run the numbers. Oh, that's a big difference, eh? 6% and 12%. The difference is $500,000. Same money, same time, only $500,000 richer, right? So if you guys don't know this, if you're misinformed or if you're uninformed, it's being used against you. And there's nothing you can do about it, but which is why there's a market for Primerica. Primerica is there to help people learn stuff like this, right? The banks don't tell you that you could potentially have $500,000 from $2,000, right? If you take away the initial investment from 512, you've had $510,000 worth of growth, taking away the $2,000. $500,000 of growth over the same time. Only the difference is the interest rate, and the banks are not going to give you a 10%, 11% interest rate. You'd be lucky if you have a 0.5% at the bank in your savings account, right? And last, I want to quickly talk about investing, right? So the 3 Ds, we call the 3 Ds of investing. Discipline, pretty self-explanatory. You have to be disciplined when it comes to investing. And then diversification is another one. And then dollar cost averaging. I'm sure you guys know what diversifying is. It's not putting all your eggs in one basket. It is really, really important, because if one, let's say it's think of it as a pool of stocks. If you have 100 stocks and only one of them goes like bankrupt or something, you still have 99 left. Think of breaking a stick. If you're to break one stick, it is very easy. But if you took a bundle of sticks and try to snap it in half, it'll take a lot more force. It is a lot harder to break something that is diversifying, right? And the other one I'll finish off. It's called dollar cost averaging. And now, for some of you guys, dollar cost averaging is a little harder to grasp, but I'll try my best to show you guys what dollar cost averaging is. So, I'm not the best artist. I'm not an arts guy, but all right. So think of this as bag, and we're given an allowance of $50, right, to buy candies, right? We're gonna put all our candies in this bag in the first month, and then we'll do second month, and we'll do our third month, right? So we have $50, and in the first month, a candy is at $10 a piece. So how many candies could you buy in the first month? Five candies. So we're gonna have 5 candies in here, right? In the second month, candies are gonna go, let's just say they're gonna go on sale. Same money, right? Only this time, the candies are gonna go on sale, and you're gonna cash them at a good price, at $1 a piece. See, you're a good shopper. You only shop when it's on sale, right? That's really good. So in the second month, how many candies are we gonna have? 50 candies. Right? So we're gonna have. Let's just. I don't want to draw 50. Let's just say we have 50 here. And in the third month, because of this sale in the second month, we have what's called we have a candy shortage, right? So based on supply and demand, what's gonna happen if you have something when we have a shortage? What's gonna happen to the price? It goes up, right? So now we have a candy shortage. So we have the same $50, but now candies are at 25 piece. Right. So we're going to buy two pieces. Right. So in total.
It's fun, right.
So in total, how much money did we spend in the 3 months?
$150.
150. And how many candies did we buy with that 150?
57.
57, right?
What?
Yeah, 57.
55 and 2, yeah. So we're the proud owners of 57 candies, right? If you were to divide this, it's called a dollar cost averaging. We're going to average the price of one candy. Let's just roughly give and take. What does this come to when you divide 150 into 57? Could someone do that for me? 2.6. So let's round it out to about $2.50, yeah, or 3. Let's just go to 250, right? Or no, let's round higher. Let's go $3, right? So our dollar cost averaging for a candy was we paid $3 a piece for candy. But when we went out and bought them, did we ever pay $3 for a candy at the market? No, right? And so that's dollar cost averaging. When you're putting your money in investment, over time, even if the investment goes down, even if the investment goes up, if you just constantly keep buying at the same price, over time, calculating the ups and downs of the market, you're going to have what's called a dollar cost averaging, right? And so technically, did you have to wait until the candies were on sale again at maybe $10 to buy it next time? No. So why do people do that with their money? It doesn't make sense, right? Technically, it only costs us $3 a piece, but no one knows that because they think that if they get a good deal at $10 a piece, they think that they're making big money, because usually before that it was more expensive at 25. It's called dollar cost averaging. No matter what, just keep buying it at the same price, and over time the market will line itself up. It's called dollar cost averaging. It's a little harder to grasp. He's so relentless. But those are the 3 Ds of investing: discipline, diversification, and dollar cost averaging. Oh, what's this? So the first step to financial success is to pay yourself first, right? Like I said, when you don't, there's a high cost of waiting. Like, remember when we did the rule of 72, right? This rule of 72 here, right? What was the doubling period between these two? How long did that take for your money to go from $250,000 to $500,000?
6 years.
6 years. And how long did your money take to go from 2,000 to 4,000?
6 years.
same amount of money. Only difference is you went up $250,000, not $2,000, right? Yeah. That's the high cost of waiting. If you were to wait and come in later, you would have missed a doubling period, and a doubling period could be costly no matter when it is, right? If it's later on, it could be the difference between $500,000 or $250,000. So $100 a month saved at 9% for 40 years is going to give you $470,000. You wait a year, you've lost some time. So you've lost $40,000 if you just waited just 1 year, right? So I know a lot of people who are like want to start investing, but they're like, you know what? I'll do invest as soon as I'm out of school. And when they're out of school, they're like, I'll invest as soon as I get a new car, you know, save up some money. Or I'll invest as soon as I get another job, because now this job is not paying good. Or when that comes on, they'll be like, I'll invest as soon as I move into the new house and get all this thing done with my new house, right? People are waiting, and they don't know that waiting could be very, very costly. What happens if you wait 5 years? You've lost $175,000 in 5 years. Now, when someone if I came up to you and said, I'll give you $175,000 if you work for me for 5 years, would you agree? Would you say that's a pretty good trade-off? But the same thing's happening to your own money with waiting. So why are we waiting if you're losing your own money? Or what happens if you had 15 years, right? $360,000 just down the drain just because you waited to get out of college, to move into the new house, or to just say, oh, I'll meet up with you next week. You know, we'll get our investments done next week because this week I'm out in Kelowna, or I'm out. You know, I have to go to the vacation house, so I gotta go travel. I'll meet you next month, or I'll meet you next month. And next month turns into 2, 2 turns into 4, 4 turns into a year, and by the time you know it, you're just losing money without even knowing. Right, so don't pay the high cost of waiting. So if your goal is to save $500,000 for retirement at age 67, look at the difference that time makes, right? So if you're at age 25, you only have to save $89, which is really, really doable for most of us. So we could move some stuff around and save $100 a month, yeah? But if you were to retire with the same money, but you started at age 55, you'd have to put maybe tenfold the same money to have the same investment, to have the same money in the same time, right? You have to put almost $3,000 to have the same money at the same time, right? The sooner you begin, the more doubling periods you will have, and those doubling periods are what you need for your money to grow, right? Like I said, if you don't know the rule of 72, it's being used against you, and that's it.
Nice work.
Good job.
It's you know, like when was your birthday, Hamid?
May
what?
May 4th.
May 4th, 2018.
No, 2000.
2018. 18. 2 months ago.
Just turned, yeah.
And so I mean, like, there's people out there at every level of every life that want to learn this stuff. The lady that we met tonight, same thing. She's 18 years old and she says, I want to learn this. I need to know this. She told me that she's been working in sales for about a year now. She said, I'll never go back to a salary or employment income again because you can't keep up with it. Yeah, that was insane. Like, you think about, Hamid was the #1 recruiter in Alberta for the month of July. And then for an 18-year-old to do that, Hamid, come up here. Hamid, take this. This is going beside your bed.
Oh, wow.
Once the company, if you can recruit 100 people and make $100,000 in a 1-year period, the company will give you this fancy ring. And he's on track to do it. So I mean, like, you mix the excitement with the knowledge, with the energy, and the focus to do it, and he'll do it. And like, you see people that will do that. They're out there. And when you pull that out of your own self, you know, it's the ability is there for each and every one of us to have that exact same thing. Unreal.
Thank you so much.
Unreal. Give it up.
Good job, Hamid.
Another crazy thing here is Jamie. Same thing. Get up here, Jamie.
Yeah.
Same type of thing. I know that if we shove this in his face, he will do it. This guy wants it more than anyone else.
Yeah.
You know, like, to come to the country and learn the language and not know anybody or know the language or anything, and then to learn all of this and to talk to strangers about money, to prospect strangers, to recruit strangers, cold market, warm market. He went to Toronto to go hear the speakers down there. He spent his own money to go down to Vegas, when was that, 2 days ago?
Thursday.
On Thursday last week, to learn what these people already know. Give it up for Jamie.
Yeah.
What you focus on will expand, right? I didn't come here to recruit anybody. I didn't come here to recruit anybody. I knew investments. I knew what Hamid taught about compounding interest. I did not want to sell life insurance. I did not. I didn't want to talk to people about dying. It's horrible when somebody dies. It's horrible. Nobody wants to think about dying. But then you find out, wait a second. This company will pay you hundreds and thousands of dollars to offer products such as life insurance to people that need it and who understand they need it. It's not my job. Primerica is a life insurance company. It just happens that they have the best products at the lowest rates with the best education. And if you don't believe me, go talk to 100 people that have it and you'll find out you can come in cheaper and get paid a lot of money. Maybe that's $1,000 a day or $1,500 a day or $2,500 a day. I mean, Hamid, the first person that he helped, it was a $400 transaction and it took him an hour and he did it on his phone. He did it on his mobile phone. He didn't have to come and learn a bunch of stuff. He didn't have to come and learn the forms. He went click, 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 click. This is cheaper than what TD Bank is offering to you. Let's get it done. And it was cheaper, better. So I mean, that's the power that Primerica has. By having people like you in the room to do that, to recruit whoever you want, to do whatever you want, to build it as fast as you want or as slow as you want, it's available. All of that is available. I'll never forget the month that Billy made $13,000, and she called Jenny saying, is this for real? Like, do I have to pay any of this money back? Is this legit? Is this legal? Because she was never ever paid that much. And for her to help somebody and to get paid that much money, it doesn't make any sense. How can you have a legitimate business model where you get paid that kind of money? And honestly, it was probably less than a day's work. It was probably less than 2 days' work all around. And it was for a friend. It was something that she would have done for her friend for free. Like helping them move. Like, I mean, you just have to help a friend if they need a hand. And the two connected. The friend got the help that she wouldn't have got anywhere else. Billy happened to be there, helped her out, and the deal was done. And the more people that know that you are competent, you know what you're talking about with taxation, investments, insurance, they're going to come to you. It's only a matter of time they're going to come to you. They're going to get referred to you from whoever. It's only a matter of time before that builds itself. And then a guy like Alan comes up to you and says, hey, what are you doing? What are you learning about? I'm in. I want to learn about this. You know, maybe I can do it. I was the same way. I just said, maybe I could do it. If there's a book an inch thick of people making hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in our company, probably I could learn what they're doing. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't, like, you think about the advantage that the younger people have over us. Hopefully we have a little bit of wisdom and we can keep up to them. But it's a lot of fun. You know, like, we have fun. When we go to someone's house, when I'm over at Jojo's house, it's fun. We're eating great food. We're having a good time. We tell a few jokes. They probably joke about me in their own language. That's okay. I can laugh. You know what I mean? That's okay. I can take it. But to be able to help people and make money, that is unreal. How many people knew this stuff about the Rule 72 before Primerica came into their life?
Kind of knew
Kind of. Poquito, tiny bit.
it. I didn't know which one.
Right.
Who's in it? Where do I?
You got a guy like Mohit. When we met with him, he said, this guy's 18 years old too. He said, I've been waiting for this business to come to me. And here it is. That's the words. That's the words that he said. That's the words out of your mouth. He said, I have been waiting for this business model to come to me. So, I mean, if there's one, we'll meet. I know he's a one of a kind, but there has to be others out there too. If you're the one that says, hey, take a look at this company, this is what we do, this is what we're teaching. Here's the thing. If you taught this to 100 people, and everybody said, no, I don't like it, I don't want to hear about it, you still win because you're getting better at talking to people, learning, educating yourself, all these things. Before we came to Primerica, we knew none of this, just like everybody here. So I mean, we could go on and on and on for hours and hours about the concepts. We try and cover a concept one a night, once every week. We meet every Tuesday, but to share these concepts with people that don't know, there's people losing sleep tonight because they don't know these things. They say, is this all that life has to offer me? 15 bucks an hour cannot last forever. 30 bucks an hour, you cannot do that for your whole life and not think to yourself, I'm made for more. You know, I have more potential. Where am I going to use it? And Primerica is the tool that says, hey, come on in, show us what you're made of, get it done. Is that incredible or what? What other company has done that? None. If you want to sell soap and biscuits and online stuff like Hamid was talking about, have at it, but there's no leverage. You can't teach people to teach people to teach people to expand and expand. We have a lot of fun, and thanks to all of you, we get to teach it. Somebody taught it to us. It's our responsibility to teach it to the next person, and we just tell them, here's the life you have. Here's the life we're offering. Which one do you want? If you don't want it, that's okay. And it's beautiful. People clue in and they say, hey, wait a sec, I want to learn this, I want to go. Can you believe that the company invested $1,200 per person to 8,000 Canadians, like a bunch of you in this room, so that you can learn these things and make money doing it, teaching it to others?
No one does that.
What other company does that?
None.
None. Everybody else in the industry at the banks, they're scared for their jobs right now. They don't know what they're going to do. What's going to happen in another 5 years in this company? What's going to happen in another 5 years in this company?
5 minutes.
You don't know. The compounding, you see it in the compounding growth, it's like this. It's the same trajectory within Primerica, within our own investments. Anyway, that's enough for one night. It's a pleasure to be able to teach this all to you. The more I teach it, the better we get at it, the more we learn, the more confidence grows. We get complacent knowing this. Like, 500,000, whoop-de-doo. $1 million, I'm already on track for $1 million, no big deal. This guy invested a ton of money on his birthday. Today's his day. Opened up his TFSA, threw in a chunk of money. He knows he's set up to have millions of dollars in retirement. He knows it. It doesn't matter what he does. He could screw up his entire life. He could get married 7 times. And as long as he have 7 divorces, as long as he hangs on to that original investment, him and every generation after him will be financially secure. Is that ridiculous or what? And that's what we can offer to our kids and to our families and to people that we know in our community. Go recruit your boss. Let's have a lot of fun. Thanks everybody for your time. Let's end it with the Matt Williams video. Did he put out a new one?
Yeah.
The most recent one? Is it worth watching?
They're all worth watching.
The guy who started the company
Yeah, that one was good.
and his story. You
Hey,
gonna put
let's
it
see
on?
it.
Well, Art.
The guy who started the company, if all you did was teach about the guy that started the company and you learned the history of Primerica, Primerica should not be here today. It started with 7 people in a room saying, there's a problem in the industry, people are being lied and taken advantage of, and they don't even know it. And because insurance and money is taboo, right? A lot of people don't want to talk about money.